Hey, this is Eric Davis with Let's Chop It Up. This is the space for real men, real conversation, and real results. If you are a brother who has been carrying a lot, feel like you don't have a place to unpack it, a place to talk about it, a place to let your proverbial hair down and breathe, you're in the right place. This week's conversation: why men fear being honest. And if I got some ladies in here today, all right, y'all, hold on. And you're going to find out why we fear being honest. Not just for our spouses, our significant others, it's in general why men fear being honest. All right, let's get into this. Honesty sounds real simple. It really does. But honesty can be scary at times. It feels dangerous because we have to become vulnerable when we open ourselves up in honesty. How will someone see me if they know the real me? Will they scrutinize me? Will they talk about me? Will they hold it against me? Will it come back up in conversation? I've given you a part of who I am, and you throw it back up in my face. Honesty risks having conflict in your life because I'm fine if you don't know how I really feel about certain situations. I'm fine if what I tell you is all you know. I'm fine if your opinion of me is not the truth about who I am. I'm fine with giving you short answers and moving on about my business. I'm fine with not letting you in to really get to understand and know why I tick the way I do, why I talk the way I do, why I react the way I do. Honesty can cause conflicts because sometimes when people think they know you and they get the true version of you, they may not be able to handle the true version of you. I thought you were this way. I thought you were better than that. I thought you were more stable than that. I didn't know you had those thoughts. I didn't know you thought about suicide. I didn't know you dealt with depression. I didn't know you had abandonment issues. I didn't know you were abused. So this sometimes is why men do not like being honest. Because if we're honest about who we are and the struggles we deal with and the things we deal with, are you able to handle that information? Are you a safe space for me to unpack and get this off my chest? Because disappointment is another thing that triggers us. We do not want to disappoint the people that we care about and love. We don't want to disappoint the people in our circle. We don't want to disappoint the people that we know depend on us, who are looking to us, who are looking for us to be a certain way, to talk a certain way, to act a certain way. We don't want to disappoint those people because we have built up a standard, so to speak, because men are expected to be a certain way. We're expected to walk a certain way. We're expected to talk a certain way. We're expected to take on responsibilities. And so we don't want to disappoint people. But a lot of times in not wanting to disappoint people, we disappoint ourselves. Because if I can't share who I am with you, who can I share it with? A lot of times we get misunderstandings because people thought we were one way and we were another way. Have you ever disappointed someone and it stuck with you for years? You made a mistake. The person you held close to you and you made a mistake. You bruised that relationship because you weren't honest about what you were dealing with and what was going on. Because you let the disappointment of letting that person down ruin a relationship. It can go for years and decades. All because you didn't communicate how you felt. And it was something simple. So when we are misunderstood, when we feel that people don't understand us, we become silent. And that is a dangerous thing for a man to be, is silent when surrounded by people. Because you don't know the thoughts that we have, pressures that we have, the concerns that we have. We become a powder keg on the verge of explosion when we have no outlet. So you hear me say a lot about building a community of men who you can talk to, who you can vent to, and who also can encourage you and hold you accountable when need be. We have to have a space where we can become vulnerable and be honest about what we're dealing with, because I promise you, if you Become honest and open up. There is another brother who's dealing with the same situation or who has gone through what you are dealing with, brothers. So I need you to make sure that you don't hold all this in. But I understand it gets scary. We don't shut down because we think people are dishonest. We're just protecting ourselves. When men shut down, they're shutting down to protect themselves from hurt, ridicule, embarrassment, disappointment. All right? A lot of men have come forward and been truthful only to have it turned back on them. And it didn't make things better. It made things harder. Harder for us to open up, harder for us to trust, and harder for us to feel like we belong in certain circles. So what happens is we get so silent that it becomes dangerous. And I know I said something like that earlier. But the silence has consequences. It creates distance. And what you don't want is a brother to be distant with you, to be short in conversation. Now, I know you've heard it. You've seen it. I've been that way myself. And I've had to come back and apologize to my wife and my kids because we get isolated and we get in our thoughts and we get in our head and we get in our emotions. But we have to make sure that we don't stay there long. All right? Because confusion can set in. Loneliness can set in. How is it that you can live amongst people, hang with people, be in groups, and still feel lonely? Because you're dealing with emotions that you have not unpacked. You didn't allow yourself to be vulnerable. And fellas, I know people have done you wrong. They ridiculed you. They didn't understand who you are. There are those that have had suicidal thoughts. There are those that are dealing with failed relationships, not feeling adequate as a man. Most men will never tell you they feel inadequate as a man. And that is something that we carry on the inside of us. When we're not able to do certain things, yes, we feel inadequate as a man. That's how we are wired, if you don't understand it. So please take the time, fellas, to sit and get to know who you are. Be honest with yourself, first of all. Honesty doesn't need to be harsh. It just needs to be real. And secondly, find a community of people you trust and be honest with them. This is a vital conversation that has to happen in men's lives. And we're going to get there. If this resonated with you, I need you to support this platform. I need you to click, like, share. Make sure you get this to another brother who you feel needs it. I'm Eric Davis. This is Let's Chop It Up. Real men, real conversations. We're getting real results. Till the next time. Chop it up soon.